You're tired. Tired of going to your awful day job. Tired of waking up every morning and fighting your alarm clock. And tired of wondering when it'll be your turn to be happy and to be successful. If you're watching this video, you believe that acting will bring you that joy, acting will scratch that itch, and acting will make you happy. I'm here to tell you that it will. If that is all the reassurance you needed, then thank you for watching the video and I'll see you next time. If you'd like to learn how to be happy, to scratch that itch, and to venture into the unknown, let's go. I believe we're going to be very good friends. My name is Latrell, and it's very nice to meet you. I've been an actor in the Southeast for around 3 years now. In those 3 years, I've performed in short films, student films, commercials, TV shows, modeling, a lot of stuff, and modeling if you can believe it. My passion is acting. I love the craft and I love to work, and it has really improved my quality of life. Now, for you to begin your acting journey, the first thing you need to do is land an acting gig. There's a reason I like video games, love them even. It's because they whisper to you the things of life that no one else actually teaches you. They're just stuff you're supposed to figure out on your own. When you start a game, the system makes you fulfill a certain number of quests. These quests are small and they're very insignificant. These quests will give you items, will give you stats. And as you progress in the game, this will make sense later, as you progress in the game, you use these stats to fight what is called a boss. A boss is like the pinnacle of the game. A boss is like landing an acting job. It's a tedious process in which you need a couple of things to actually win. You actually need 3 things, and these 3 things will be your bread and butter for many, many years. And as the years go on, these 3 things will change, but the principle will stay the same. Your first tool will be your actor's headshot. Your actor's headshot is a very expensive but a very useful tool for you in your journey. It's the first thing casting sees. Whether you're fat, slim, ugly, or pretty is irrelevant. The industry needs a variety of actors and a variety of people. So make sure you get your actor's headshot when you can, and don't let your physical traits hold you back from starting. The second thing you need is what I call the bane of all unemployed people. Resume. Corny. A resume is very similar to a normal resume. An actor's resume is very similar to a normal resume. An actor's resume is comprised of the productions you've previously done, the skills that you have, and the classes that you've taken. Now, we all know you don't got no work because you just started, but you should have some skills. This can range from basketball, tennis, driving, all the way up to horseback riding and martial arts. Anything that you have that's unique to you, add it on there. In terms of classes, you may not have these when you start, but you should get them. Enroll in classes as soon as you can and go from there. Last but not least is a demo reel. I would akin a demo reel to that helmet your parents gave you when you started to bicycle. Something that you probably should have used, but you actually never did. It's something that you knew about, but you actually never got. So as you mature as an actor, you begin to realize how important a demo reel is. A demo reel is a collection of your work. It's a collection of the greatest moments of your acting, surmised in a 60-second clip that you can send to casting. This 60-second clip is fairly important. The older you get, the more you realize how important it is. And if you do it pretty well, then this 60-second clip will land you an agent. I try to abide by the rule of 3s. I may not understand it, but I try to keep things simple. I know you guys are smarter than me, but I am more experienced. First of those 3s is Facebook. If you've watched my previous video, and you should have, Facebook is a really good resource to finding work as an extra, but it's also a great resource for finding low-level or even mid-level work as principal. Principal meaning you speak in it. What you'll want to do is go to Facebook, go to the search bar, type in your state plus casting calls, join any groups you see, What you're looking for is submissions that are short films, student films, pretty much anything you see that matches the description of what you're looking for. You'll want to look at the post, see how they want you to submit, and proceed that way. There are pros and cons to using Facebook. The reason I like it, though I don't really use it too much, is because it's free. That's why I'm recommending it to you. And free is alright with me. That's kind of it. The cons for that though, however, is that Facebook, as you know, is used for casting primarily. So there isn't any type of verification method to make sure that these posts that you see aren't scammy. So you want to do your own verification with whoever is posting it, with that company, and make sure everything is legit and professional. Rule of thumb for this, you never want to pay for anything. Rolling with the punches, we're going to look at option number 2. Now, option number 2 is a great option, and though I do save the best for last, there is nothing at all wrong with option number 2. Option number 2 is Backstage. Again, mentioned it in my previous video, where you can find work for extra, but Backstage is an amazing resource for everything. Not only do they have their own verification method or background checks, where they check to make sure that every listing is legit, but they do also, and if they don't do that, if they don't do the background check, they will also throw a big fat warning on the page to let you know that, hey, this work has not been verified yet, take caution. But they're very, very sweet. Not only is their interface great, but the way that you can find jobs, filter out things you don't need is really amazing as well. If there were bigger level productions on there, which there kind of are, but kind of aren't, I definitely put this as number 1, but definitely a good option as well. You can find work here for acting, modeling, commercials, work for crew if you want to be behind the camera. There's stuff for everyone here, guys. You can make your own little profile where you'll put your little headshot, a bio about you, all the work you've done, and all the stuff you've been in on your profile. And when you submit the stuff, you just have that all filled out already, and they just get your profile, and then they can ask you if you want to send a self-tape, or maybe they already have a pre-screening for you. It's going to depend on whatever submission you have, but I love it. Now, you do pay for it. There is a subscription for it. I don't know how much it is monthly. You can probably catch it during a deal where you don't have to pay that much for it. It's a great resource, again, guys. There are some pros and cons to Best Buy, but before I get into that, I do want to recommend that you like and subscribe on the video if you haven't already. You can't subscribe on the video, but like the video. Also, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, as I can kind of just see them directly there. Pros and cons of Backstage. There really aren't many cons. In terms of pros, it is a legit casting website. Here, you can find a ton of work. The interface is extremely modern and easy to figure out, and it feels rewarding. Cons with it, you do have to pay, but I mean, you get so much with it. You do a single job that pays you, I don't know, $150 or so, and then you pay the subscription with that money, and now you can spend the rest of the year and not worry about anything. It's a really good resource, guys. The last of the 3 is Actors Access. Now, I love Actors Access. I check it daily, but it's a little bit of an older interface. It's not really an older interface, as in it's extremely simple and you can't get lost in it. So I guess professionally, boomer style, it's not that bad. Now, Backstage is really, really professional, but you won't be able to see most of the important casting stuff unless you have an agency that receives those castings. But you do still receive or see a ton of work. I've done some work through Actors Access. A lot of the work you're gonna see may be student films, but you will also see a ton of professional short films and commercials and things of that nature here as well. So you should really, really, really be on Actors Access. Now, pros and cons of Actors Access, I'll be brief here because again, there's not much. In terms of pros, it is a very professional casting website. You will find a lot of your work here, but of course you can't fully utilize it unless you have an agent. But even before then, you'll still find work that is amazing and great. So get on Actors Access. The cons of Actors Access is when you get on Actors Access, you realize how much it is to get all your stuff there. You do pay to add pictures, videos, your demo reels. That's kind of it. You also do pay a yearly subscription to submit to things, but it is cheaper than Backstage actually. I think it's like $67 for a year. Really isn't bad. It's great. Again, it's a really good resource, but it's professional. So when you're ready, put your stuff on there and you'll be able to find work pretty easily. Closing remarks. I want to go over the things that should have made it on the list but didn't make it on the list because they may not be important to you at this immediate time. First one would be, and these are going to be my honorable mentions really, casting networks. Casting networks is a really good resource as well. This is going to be mostly for commercials. Now you will find some excess work throughout here as well, but mostly for commercials. But if that's your gig, go all for it. Next is going to be LA Casting and Now Casting. I'm not too familiar with these two as they seem to be more so towards the LA-ish area, but they're really good, they're verifiable or credible, so give those guys a shot too. As a final note, again guys, I am going to recommend that you go and watch my other video. I'm going to pop it up right here, called How to Start Your Acting Career. Very important, a lot more detailed than this kind of brief summary here where you're finding work. That's going to teach you how to really get into it and start it. It's pretty long and it's kind of boring, but it is very informative. If you have any questions, again, throw them in the comments, like the video, subscribe. You get my next video when I push it out probably by the end of this week. And until then guys, I'll see you around.